Hello and welcome to another Park Rovers Live. We are here, we are back, and we're going to be talking some park news tonight. Dustin, how's it going?
It's going great, Andrew. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, it's beautiful. We fell back an hour, got an extra hour of sleep.
You don't have kids, so
No,
no, we did not fall back an hour. I mean, we did, but then, the kids are still up at their normal body clock time. So,
sure.
yeah, it's still all right. We're still kicking at 9 o'clock. So
9 o'clock, I got my lacto cooler, which I understand is an HHN kind of tradition. Very, very apple-y.
very aptly. Well, speaking of HHN, I have the official cup from our visit.
Oh,
I won't blink the whole time, but
It-
and I am drinking a double vision from Monument Brewing Company, which is local to Baltimore here.
beautiful. And if you don't know and you're of age, a lacto cooler is from Voodoo Brewing.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very famous. Meadville, Pennsylvania is where what the can says.
But
I would have thought New Orleans.
does it taste like the Ecto Cooler, that high C drink?
I haven't had that in a while.
I mean, yes. I don't think anybody has. I think that's the whole
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. It's a Berliner Weiss. It's interesting. Anyway, let's move on from beer. But tonight's the last night of HHN, is it?
No, last night was the last night.
night was.
Yeah,
because I
it's
know some
officially done.
haunts. Okay, I know some haunts like ran through this weekend, which is kind of odd to me since like Disney's all like Christmas vibe now. The November 1st, they're all in it.
They switch over real quick. I know Islands of Adventure was already in the Christmas spirit.
Oh, cool.
But yeah,
I know Carowinds put up Christmas. I didn't go today, but I know they put up Christmas stuff, and King's Dominion as well.
And Hershey Park's Christmas Candy Lane starts next weekend.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll be at Disney next weekend, so I get to see that stuff there, and then I hope to check out the local parks after that. I'll be at Dollywood after Thanksgiving, I think. So looking forward to seeing that at Christmas as well. But anyway, so tonight we are going to. It's been a while since we synced. So we've got a lot of news to cover. We've got one big topic. We're going to be talking Six Flags and Cedar Fair and our thoughts on that. Kind of came out of nowhere.
Wait, what's this news? I haven't heard of this yet. This is brand new information for me.
I'll fill you in. I'll fill you in. But so we're going to rewind because I think our last live was in the summer.
August-ish, maybe July.
I think it was July 16th.
Okay.
If I was looking back and I was surprised. I'm like, oh man, so much happened and I forgot about most of this news. So it's kind of fun to like step through it. We can't cover everything. Like even today, their news broke like out of Edaville in Massachusetts. Like they're reopening an area, a small park, but there's tons of news out there that we can't cover it all. But we're gonna kind of play the hits and some of the stuff you can read about on parkrovers.com. So anyway, we've prepared a little slideshow that we're going to kind of run through. Dustin, we haven't prepped on this. So.
No, I looked at your preview and I was like, perfect. Let's just hit all those.
Yeah. So without further ado.
All right. So we're getting a new theme park in Oklahoma. Is this outside Tulsa, I believe?
Yeah,
or Oklahoma City. I am not familiar with the inner workings of Oklahoma. But this is American Heartland. They've broken ground on it, which I think is the big important thing. And they've only broken ground on the RV park portion of it. But the fact they're moving dirt, they're making progress on what looks to be a nice themed park that kind of celebrates America.
Yeah.
I think has a lot of potential because there's not much out in that area.
What I like about it is it's off of Route 66, and I've always wanted to like take Route 66. I've only seen bits and pieces. More recently, I got to see Route 66 around Branson, around that area, and there's not as much around there. So I'm excited about this if it happens, but I guess it is since they're breaking ground. They're building it.
Well, it's we have friends we met out in Disneyland a few years ago from Michigan, and then they drove Route 66 back to Michigan, which I'm like, props to you guys. But no, I think that celebrating America's heritage in America's heartland could be a really cool thing. And if they do it up right and they promote it right, Lost Island, like again, I think
It's,
any amusement park I want to be successful, any theme park I want to be successful.
I will
Let's
say
do
I
this.
don't. Yeah, I don't have a lot else to say. I will
Yeah.
say it feels very similar to Disney's America,
Mm-hmm.
the park they were going to build in Virginia, and then got
Surreptitiously got node.
yeah.
For lack
Yeah,
of a better word.
the NIMBYs not in my backyard, I guess is what
Yeah.
you call it. Anyway, so we'll see if this happens. There's a lot of naysayers out there, but again, they're building the RV park right now. So
Yep.
hey,
They've got the funding, they got the money. I'm pulling for them.
yeah. Moving on, we're going down to Florida from
Mhm.
Oklahoma. This one I actually completely forgot, and it's not a big
I
deal.
did
But
not. I did not, because they're building Shrek's like swamp that you can still see from the paths. So
this
that's the
is,
only
I
reason
mean,
I
this is
remembered it.
coming next year,
Mm-hmm.
2024.
But we
It,
still have very few details on it, correct?
That's correct. We
Like,
have. This is it. This is
yeah.
like I wrote like 6 sentences. I read the press release. I had nothing else to
I
add
feel like
on
that's
this.
4 more sentences than I would have about it. It's
But
going to involve DreamWorks characters, and I think the Woody Woodpecker roller coaster is being rethemed.
that's what I was gonna ask. I
Yep.
did. There's no confirmation on that, but I wrote that and it wasn't bad. It was fine. It was, it's a little a little rickety, but it's fine.
I still haven't hopped on it,
Yeah.
but now I can ride I think it's Trolls, maybe.
Oh, that'd be better with
Yeah.
like NSYNC music playing or something.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
All right, let's move on.
Yep.
This was your article, I believe.
Yes. So Top Thrill Dragster is no more. The stupidest name in the world, in my opinion. Top Thrill 2. I like the concept. I think it's going to be fun. One of the best things about Dragster was that acceleration, and you're not going to get that. We knew we weren't going to get that. So everybody that's all upset about that, I don't know what to tell you, because you knew that wasn't going to happen. A 400-foot vertical drop is still going to be ridiculously awesome. And the fact that you get 2 of those in this ride, and yeah, it might not be a complete 400 feet, that first one. But like going backwards up a spike, I'm gonna enjoy that head chopper coming like past the station. If you like watch, they haven't put out a real point of view yet, but if you watch any of the videos, you can kind of see it. It's gonna be fun. They could have just taken the whole dang thing out, and I appreciate that they didn't. And they're working with what they have. I have full faith that they have vetted Zamperla, and it's going to work at least as well as Top Thrill Dragster did, hopefully better. But if it keeps the tower and it adds another tower and it keeps the icon in the park, I don't see it as a loss.
I'm just catching up on comments now. Sorry, guys. Yeah, DreamWorks team seems like that was my reaction. I was putting this together tonight, and I was like, "Oh boy."
Yeah. Because July 16th.
And then the Eatable news came out yesterday. I got the email today, so I guess I'm not on their prep, whatever. But yeah, I have a video from Eatable, which I walked through, and I was like, "Oh, this area looks cool. Like, it looks like it's a huge potential for that park in Massachusetts." So anyway, thanks for your comments, DJ Dog. Hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Oh, my friend Aaron, who he was the one who did the Route 66, and he said he would do it again. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Moving on to the boomerangs. We got a few boomerangs in the news.
Well, and here's the thing that I like. I appreciate that boomerangs are now just not these 6th inversion ridiculously awkwardly uncomfortable things that you and I grew up with as boomerangs. This looks adorable and amazing, and I've never been to Holiday World, but I want to go to Holiday World not only to ride Voyage and Thunderbird, but this Good Gravy looks it. I don't even know. It
I
looks
remember
amazing.
I didn't forget about this because the way they announced this coaster was amazing, and they just
Yeah.
did an amazing job. If you haven't watched their promo video for Good Gravy, go back and watch this. I mean, it's probably the promo that I think this is also the most highly themed boomerang I think that has and will ever exist, most likely.
It's the most strangely themed boomerang. Let's
Well,
put it
that's
like the one at Kings Island we'll talk about in a couple minutes.
sure.
Is also nice and themed. We have another one that's going to be themed towards the Flash. That's all well and good. No other boomerang in the world is going to be themed towards Thanksgiving, and that is my favorite holiday. And darn it, I'm happy.
Oh, we're in your month.
We are, and thank you for recognizing it. I appreciate that.
We got to get you up to Plymouth, Mass, so you could see the Plymouth Rock and the Plantation and the Mayflower replica.
I'd love to go.
All right, we're moving on to Dorney, another park I haven't been to and want to get to, but it never makes the list. But this is a coaster that Dorney they're doing really interesting things with. And speaking of theming, this is one I really admire what they're doing here.
Dorney's hyping up this mini dive as like the next coming of roller coasters, and it looks fun. I absolutely like. I am a dive machine fan. I know some people don't find them to be whatever. I enjoy them. This the 7-seater that they put in at Fiesta Texas.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I'm trying to literally count. I want to say yes.
Yeah.
So you got 3 rows of 7, so you got 21 seats. It's not super long. It's it's drop, it's Immelman, it's was there even a like I'm just trying to picture it right now.
You're the coaster guy. I'm the theming guy.
Yeah. There's an incline loop which will be fun, and I want to say there's an inline twist, but I could be wrong about that. And then you're back into the station. So it's not super long. It reminds me of one of those dive coasters that's over in Europe. They have a couple that aren't super long and aren't super massive, but have a lot of theming. And based on what we know about this, the theming's not where I want it to be, but I'm holding out hope that they really give us something inside the station and they give us something kind of on the grounds, because the backstory that they've put into this is great, and I want to see that continue. I'm not sure we're going to get it though.
Yeah. I love the backstory and what Cedar Fair's / Six Flags.
Just Cedar Fair. We haven't made it to that story.
It's not official yet, so we'll get to that. The backstory they've put together, and they're promoting this regularly. Like their social media is doing a bang up job, really knocking it out of the park. So huge respect to Dorney.
And while I think the boomerang the shuttle wooden coaster that was rumored to be on this plot a few years ago before COVID probably would have been a better overall ride, this is one that's going to actually bring people to Dorney Park, because there's nothing like this around. You've got Busch Gardens has a dive, Cedar Point has a dive. There's nothing like this in the Northeast. So
maybe I'll get there next year.
It's a fun little park.
Yeah. Back to boomerangs. Kings Island. Kings Island. This was August. Sure. We're only in August now.
We've made it to August though.
So this is another Vekoma boomerang. Snoopy's. Sorry, not Snoopy.
Snoopy's.
I don't know who that is.
Lacto cooler's kicking in already.
Okay.
So Snoopy's what?
Soapbox Racers, the 16th coaster for Kings Island.
So let's talk about that for a second. I think the fact that Cedar Fair up to this point has invested so much in Kings Island since acquiring them back in the mid-aughts, really speaks to not only the Cincinnati area, but the fact that there are a lot of folks in the middle of America that want a really good themed uh, amusement park.
Hmm.
And this looks like it's going to complement their kids area very well. They could get rid of that Vekoma coaster that's next to it for all I care. I'm sure that's not good if it's anything like the other ones. But it looks highly themed. You've got kids' play areas right around it. It's going to spruce up a place or a portion of the park that hasn't seen any investment in a while, and a lot of they just keep redoing portions of that park. I haven't been since '05. It's high on my bucket list to get back to next year.
Yeah.
Not really for this, but for a lot of reasons. So
I went last year. Did I? I didn't go this year. I went last year, I think.
I rode Son of Beast the last time I went.
Oh,
That's
geez.
yeah. It was
Yeah, I highly
my
recommend Kings Island.
it was
Definitely feels
my last ride on Son of Beast, not my first ride on Son of Beast.
Kings Island definitely feels like a top tier Cedar Fair. Like it's treated very well.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they don't, every park has its own intricacies, right? And I can
Yes.
only say I'm judging some parks I have not been to, but Kings Island definitely feels like it's very well taken care of. And I have not seen the new themed area they opened this year, so I need to get back as well.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Europe.
To
Mock
places
rides.
I have no plans to visit.
I
Like
don't
I
I
think
don't
I can
think
visit Kings Island next year. I don't think I'm making it to Germany. But this looks
yeah.
awesome.
This it's funny they couldn't get the Tesla sponsor. This is the one takeaway everybody had was like, it's like Tesla themed, but they couldn't get the Tesla sponsorship. So
Right. So it's
it's
Voltron.
yeah. It looks amazing. Let's see here.
Do you
Only
have stats for
56
me?
miles an hour, 7 inversions, 4 launches, beyond vertical at 105 degrees, 2.2 seconds of continuous weightlessness.
So this is mock, right?
Mhm.
Okay, because it's Europa Park. Is it an extreme spinner?
No.
So it's fancy blue fire.
Yeah.
That's the like it looks cool. It looks interesting. Um, Europa is generally considered one of the best parks in the world. I'm curious what this brings to the table that Europa didn't already have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So yeah, he's DJ Dogs. We should
Gotcha.
just invite him in.
I was
He
gonna say,
knows more than us.
you got a microphone?
Uh,
Come on.
but yeah, the company they did partner with is from Croatia, and it's a Croatian themed land at Europa
Okay, so
Park.
that makes sense.
So it does fit very well. I don't know if I'm gonna. Yeah, I'd like to get there.
Oh, absolutely.
I know a lot of enthusiasts have, and isn't this the park? This is the park that has like a spaceship Earth like sphere, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
I need to get there. All right, we'll go back to the U.S. where we're more comfortable.
So they're redoing Fire in the Hole to be Fire in the Hole, or they're adding a new Fire in the Hole that's
It's
replacing
an
the old
entirely new
Fire
in the Hole. This is
Yes.
entirely new. It's a different building because it's under construction right now. There's videos of it under
Yes.
construction. The existing, I don't know what's happening with the existing coaster building. I assume it's just going to be deconstructed. Yeah.
Right. But this is over in like the fire, like there's like a fire chaser area, not fire chaser.
Fire district.
Yes,
the fire
that's
district. Yeah. It's a
Um,
really nicely themed area. Has a drop tower and some other things.
right. Which
This is
totally
gonna
makes
be
sense.
this was such a smart the way they've promoted this.
Yes.
SDC is they're talking about social media and promoting their park. They're doing an amazing job. I have no I can't I have no complaints. I have no criticism, no notes.
No notes. And RMC did the track work for this, yes?
Yeah.
Rocky Mountain Construction. So we've got, for the most part, reliable manufacturer. If they're bringing over the story and updating it to make it, look prettier, look nicer, maybe add some things. Silver Dollar City is one of those weird parks that like I feel is very locally, like it's very like local park, but then it's become so big and so grand that
And,
it does attract a lot of tourists.
yeah, it's a destination park now.
Yes.
That's why I went this year. I got on Fire in the Hole, the OG version. I don't know if
But
I'm going to make it back next year. It's tough to get to for me
and
from
that's
North
my biggest
Carolina.
problem with it. It's so tough. Well, it's tough to get to anywhere because there's no local airport. You have to fly into where either St. Louis or Kansas City or like I want to say Tulsa.
That's I think Tulsa's so far away.
Okay, again,
I'd
not
have to
super
map it.
familiar with the Oklahoma area.
Yeah.
So, but
But
yeah, it's
but
tough
this
to get to.
coaster's going, it's built, it's really smart the way they're doing it. It's a building that's, temperature controlled. So it's going to be operated this, well, I'm sure they're
Mhm.
going to have to do some maintenance on it, but it's going to be able to operate all seasons.
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic. Custom soundtrack, 3 drops, water splashdown, 14 different show scenes. This is right up my alley as a theming guy. I can't wait for this to see what this is. I mean, this is this is
Did
everything I could have hoped for.
did old Fire in the Hole live up to your expectations?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm familiar with the sister ride at Dollywood, so
Yeah.
I kind of knew what to expect there. We got a couple comments. Theme park lifestyle, welcome. Yeah, we're gonna
Hey.
get to Six Flags over Carowinds.
What?
uh,
No, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
and
No.
then the airport talk. Yeah, Springfield. I
Yes.
think I flew out of Springfield, and it was not cheap. Uh,
Those small regional airports never
yeah,
are.
I had no. My closest direct flight, I believe, was Kansas City, and
Mm-hmm.
that's like 3 hours north of Branson, or maybe
Yeah.
2.5. So yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. If you're
Doable,
lucky,
but
I
yeah.
think Charlotte, North Carolina has a direct flight to Springfield, if I'm not mistaken, because
I'm gonna look up
that's where
real
my
quick.
layover was. So you might get lucky, but all right.
Let's see.
Adventureland, I am definitely, or it seems like I'm getting here next year. I can't say definitely.
You compare it with Lost Island.
It seems
Yeah.
like I will be there because the NAFA, the National Amusement Park Historical Association, is going to be in that area, and I think they're going to be stopping at Adventureland. And so I'm excited to to see what they do with their dark ride coaster. Speaking of, it's very similar, I assume, to, I've watched some POVs, but it's very dark. So I kind of equate it to the Fire in the Hole.
Well,
But
and is it dark so that they can hide what wasn't working anymore because it's the underground mining company?
yeah, I mean, maybe it's part of the theming.
Yeah.
So very excited to Adventureland for my first time. Yeah, Arnold's is that's another stop on the NAFA Park Hop. Uh, if you're not familiar with NAFA, it's napha.org. I'll put it in the
Throw it in the
chat
chat.
here. If anyone's looking for a really cool organization, wow, that didn't even go through really well, but napha.org.
No, but you did their Pennsylvania trip this year, didn't you?
Yeah, they did. They had
Yeah.
Pennsylvania to New York,
Mhm.
and it was fantastic. That you get a lot of behind the scenes. You get obviously some ERT exclusive ride time, and you go to defunct parks as well, so you get to check out a lot of cool stuff, and very smart people that have been part of this organization forever. But yeah, their park hop will be definitely going to Arnold's and likely going to Adventureland and other parks. Most likely Lost Island as well. So I can't wait to hang out
Assuming
with
Lost
that
Island
group
is
again.
still open.
Well,
They haven't said
think
that they're
positive
not going to
thoughts.
be. So I would love to make it to Lost Island. So
yeah. Well, join us in NAFA next summer.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Right.
Six Flags over Georgia. I forgot about this one, to be honest.
Well, they haven't named it yet because they're doing the stupid oh, we're giving you a chance to vote on the name, which all of the names stink. I'm just gonna say it right now. It's like Aquaphobia
Mm-hmm.
and like the Georgia Surfer. It's like they're literally pulled up coasters they already have, and we're like just changing things to make it water themed.
Yeah.
Um, but I like the idea. These like surfboard, skateboard with the rotating seats. They have a couple intimate half pipes around the country. I've been on the one in what was it, Nickelodeon Universe up there at American Dream.
Yep.
They're fun rides. So you throw in a little bit of airtime with a hill and some splashes. I see this as a win, especially if they're putting it. Have they announced where they're putting this in the park?
I have not seen information on that. So
Okay. If it's replacing the Flume ride that was torn up literally the one and only time I was there, that makes sense because it's kind of down in a valley, and I don't really see what else you could put in there. But I think it's a really good idea. That park is in Georgia. Thank you. Thank you.
yes.
That park's in Georgia. It gets hot most of the year. Um, I think obviously I wish capacity was better. But hopefully we have upcoming news that
Where the
helps with
shoot the
capacity.
shoots was.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yes. Right where I was thinking. But yeah, I see this as nothing but a win.
Yeah, it gets me back there. I mean, I also have to ride Kid Flash. I'm not going to be going down there.
True.
I
I
don't
have not
think.
been Kid Flash.
I thought about first. I looked at flights, to be honest. I was like, do I really? I could get
that would
it's 2
stretch your
credits, right? I'm like,
your credit whoring to a new level.
I was like, I know there's Frontier flights, and if they're timed correctly, I could get to and from, but then I have to rent a car, and
Yeah.
that's when I'm like, wow, that's not
Honestly,
worth.
you could Uber from like the airport is not far from
Oh,
the park.
it's like 30 minutes, I think. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
They're in the same corner. Yeah.
All right, well, we'll update the site when this thing has a name.
Yes. Looks like fun.
On the Fiesta, on the Six Flags, we're getting closer. So
This
Six
is still
Flags,
April. End of April or end of August? I'm sorry.
end of
End
August.
of
We're not
August.
back.
We're not. No.
We started in the summer.
We're not going back in time.
We're almost to current time, but this also feels a long time ago because Fiesta Texas news was announced before the big Six Flags news day.
Yes.
And I loved what they're announced for Six Flags Fiesta. Another park I unfortunately haven't been to, but I
haven't
love
either.
that. I love the themed monorail idea. Along with this, they have a Zamperla Nebulas, and
which are fun rides.
All DC themed. They have a Shazam tower, a drop tower, a rotating drop tower.
One of like those mini ones, only like 70 feet tall or something. Yeah,
70 feet.
Probably coming from Six Flags America. I'm being completely honest.
It's what's interesting is that they already have a 205-foot drop tower, the Scream. Right. So anyway, I love what they're doing at Fiesta. But a few days after this news, we got all of the news. We got everything.
Right. So let's run this down really quick because we've got big things and then we have like the general like Six Flags. We're adding a giant frisbee to like,
and this isn't everything. I just took some pictures.
So I want to focus on 2 parks specifically. I want to focus on Great Adventure because not only are they adding the first new Vekoma super boomerang, giant boomerang, I'm not sure what they're calling it, but there's one in China. This ride looks like it will be really, really, really fun and load really, really, really slow. Just throwing it out there. It's in a good spot. You're gonna walk up next to it as you're entering the park from wherever. It's gonna be a fun ride that's gonna pull a lot of people into the gates and into that Gotham City area right away. Pair that with safari glamping.
That's what I wanted to talk about because that was the
okay.
Most
You take the safari glamping because that was the most unique announcement and one that I see myself doing. So go ahead.
I definitely see myself doing this. I am very intrigued how they're going to pull it off. We didn't get a lot of information on this.
I think that's on purpose.
It's obviously it borders the savannah, and the quote is giraffes will be freely roaming. I've stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge a few times. I'm lucky enough to do that, where I've been in a hot tub with like giraffes overhead, and that's kind of fun.
But again, we're talking about Six Flags Great Adventure.
Yeah, New Jersey,
which has a nice safari. I've done the safari when it was incorporated into the park, which that's happening now. Yes, they're gonna do both. You can drive your own car, and it's an attraction in the park.
I thought they were just I thought they were just doing the. I didn't think they were keeping the car part.
I want to say they're doing both, but I could be, because again, this is from August.
DJ Dog could probably correct.
Yeah, DJ Dog, fix this up. I want to say I saw both, but I could be wrong. I know they're bringing back at least the in-park.
Yeah, I thought the car thing was just for COVID, and then they kept it.
Okay.
Yeah, attraction only.
That's fine.
Yeah. That's so. I think you're wrong.
So anyway, you know what? I've been wrong before. That's fine.
I'm wrong all the time.
Yes, I have no problem being wrong.
I am fact checking myself as I talk right now, just because I don't remember everything.
I hold up my phone every once in a while, going, "Am I right?" No.
Luxurious tents here, and there's a resort restaurant and a state. I put this in quotes in my article. State of the art spa. And who is going to a spa at Six Flags? But that was my main takeaway.
I want to know. I want to know what makes it state of the art. Because I feel like that's whatever. But secondly, what makes it safari-esque? What are they rubbing you down with? Let's do it. Let's do it. That'll get some YouTube views.
Hey guys, we are live from the Savannah Sunset Resort and Spa. And Park Rovers live next year. We'll just wait until we get there.
To round out the Six Flags talk,
I got two things I want to talk about. So you go.
Okay, so I'm gonna go Six Flags America, because that is technically, geographically, the park that is closest to my house. They are reopening an area that they have closed for the last 2 years. So the Coyote Creek area is now Steamtown. They're replacing one of my older kids' favorite rides, the rodeo, with his Imperla Nebulas. Cool, whatever. Those are fun rides. They're not getting rid of the abomination that is Mind Eraser, but it looks like they're updating the trains, so maybe it won't give me a concussion the next time I ride it. I'm willing to give it another shot. But yeah, I am all for injecting new life into old lands. Look at Jungle Expedition. Look at Adventure Port. If they're taking the old Cedar Fair model and applying it to Six Flags parks, and this is late August that we're talking about this, I like it. It could be worse. It's at least something.
Yeah, that was my takeaway when I saw this. I don't have a lot to add. You kind of covered it pretty well. I'm excited about, they're redoing the show as well. It's just like, I'm just happy to see them injecting life into it and adding theming, or adding more immersive theming, I should say.
Yes. Well, what did you want to add?
Oh, that's it for Steamtown. The other thing was the Bobcat at Great Escape. It was good to get some attention at this park. I'm sad that obviously it came at the expense of the Alpine bobsled, which I never got to run. I was there 3 days before it opened for this season, and I didn't get to run ever in my life. I did not get that credit. But it's good to get a wooden coaster there, a gravity group. Looks like it'll be good. So it's just great because it's been a while since they've gotten anything new at that park up in New York. And so it's, that's also, I think that's just a nice park up in New York, upstate New York. So, it's just good to see some attention. I think that's about what I wanted to cover for Six Flags. You can read about all the news.
I was gonna say a couple other things, but yeah, those are the big highlights.
4 attempts to ride the Alpine bobsled. Well, now I don't feel so bad.
What was that, an Intamin bobsled or a mock bobsled?
I'd have to RCDB that. Um,
Ah,
Old time bobsled. I,
what?
I was so sad when I walked up to it. It was an Intamin, a Swiss
Intimate.
Bob. Yeah,
Okay.
operated from 1998 to September 4th.
Those are the better ones. I'm just gonna. I mean, unabashedly biased. I worked on one of those, so
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we still got the one at
over Texas.
King's Dominion as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's yep, yep.
All right. We're getting closer to modern day. Disney Treasure. I just wanted to call out that the Disney Treasure it's expensive, of course, as all cruises
What?
are. They do have 20,000 Leagues bar announced. Haunted Mansion bar was more recently announced,
Okay,
and
this I
a
was gonna say
Jungle
is this.
Cruise. So they're injecting, like, what I thought was interesting. I wanted to call out here was they're injecting some park attractions into the ship. So you have these themed lounges. I'm probably most excited about 20,000 Leagues, and well, Haunted Mansion looks cool too.
There you go.
Um, it's tough. I think. I think it might. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. 20,000 Leagues. I don't have a picture of it here, but I think
Now,
that looked a little cooler. But Haunted Mansion,
20,000 Leagues.
pumped out. I'm pumped
Yeah,
up for you.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea would probably make a better like drinking experience.
Eh,
Um, but it's the Haunted Mansion bar for me.
Yeah.
That's my favorite old school classic Disney attraction. The one in Disneyland, and um I just think that like people of our age, of drinking age, of cruising age, are more drawn to those things that we grew up with. Even if we didn't necessarily grow up with them, we're very nostalgic for them.
Mhm.
So I think injecting park IP as opposed to movie IP or whatever, Disney's trying to push on us right now is probably a good long-term idea.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say the Haunted Mansion space is the same space as the Hyperspace Lounge on the Wish, which is
Mhm.
relatively small. The 20,000 Leagues bar is they have a little more room to work with.
Okay.
So that's why I think they have more. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know if I'll get on this for. I mean, the first cruise is next Christmas, so it'll be 2025 before I get on, most
Oh,
likely.
geez. Yeah.
We got a couple comments here. I'm trying to catch up, DJ Dog. Sorry, I missed. Yeah, Katie's mock. The Katie Alpine, the
Yeah.
themed. Yeah. The Disney Haunted Mansion bar sounds awesome. Yeah. One thing that was cool that they did, that Disney did, was they released the recipes for the drinks for the
Oh,
Haunted
so I can
Mansion
just
bar, so you could
make it on my own.
kind of fake it at home. Put the movie on, I guess. The new one. It's not that bad.
Okay.
I think it's good.
The new movie I did not hate. I
Yeah.
actually really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So, mm,
All right, we're moving on. Oh yeah, some Disney news. We never talked about Destination D and what came out of that.
mhm.
The biggest news was probably the Animal Kingdom. They kind of re-announced the Dinoland stuff, which is they didn't really commit to it,
Right.
but they kind of committed to it. They played Indiana Jones music, which was really odd. Now the Indiana Jones ride, there are multiple versions of that. There's two. Obviously, the original was at Anaheim.
Mhm.
So it's not, you could just have a different storyline to that same attraction. It just doesn't, like, I like a dinosaur is like a decent, like, it doesn't seem really worth it. Like, it's always got a line too. I don't know.
Always. Always.
And Kanto, yeah, I mean,
It,
it's my reaction is this is fine. I don't not the fire dog, not the this is fine fire dog. I think this is okay. Like
this is
the concept is fine.
yes. There are a lot worse things they could be doing with this area. Um, Joe Rohde is probably rolling over in his not quite a grave yet, which it happens. You retire, you move on. Things
Yeah.
parks change, and I know that was his baby, but like
Hmm.
we've got Indiana Jones was my favorite ride at the Disneyland Resort, and that
Hmm.
was pre Galaxy's Edge. So like I know there's a couple things that have come since then. But if they can take the flavor of Indiana Jones and incorporate it into dinosaur, and if they can take the flavor of Encanto, which had a lot of animals, if you really watch the movie, as we did a lot because I have a 4-year old,
Yeah.
like it fits, and it fits just as well as Pandora fits. Like, let's be honest, it fits as well as Expedition Everest fits.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about natural beauty. We're talking about you know the earth and things like
Mhm.
that. It's not necessarily animals, even
Sure.
though it's called Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat as you. Like, this is better than what they have, so I'm for it.
Yeah, I mean, they said it's a tropical Americas theme, which makes sense.
Yeah.
They're just putting they're which is smart because they're taking the area, and then the attractions can always change over time.
Hmm.
But they're designating the space as tropical Americas.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a I like Dino Land, so I'm not gonna be too sad since they've already like they're already taking it apart. But one thing I wanted to say is before we move on, I just wanted to say that I wanted to make it known. A lot of people don't know this, I think, because we don't get over to Japan, but they have, and I alluded to this before, but they have Indiana Jones Adventure over there themed to
Hmm.
the Crystal Skull.
Yes.
So this would be the third Indiana Jones Adventure ride if they're going to actually do it as a. But maybe this is just blue sky.
I think it's a little closer to reality than Blue Sky. It's
Yeah.
much more closer to reality than what lies beyond Big Thunder Mountain.
Yep. Yep. Villains
So,
Land.
all
SeaWorld.
right, what is it? So B&M is, I don't want to say they're entering the family coaster game, but they're erupting into the family coaster game, at least in
Mhm.
America. The only negative I have about this ride is we were promised bobsleds, and both this concept art and the video that they released last week sometime do not have bobsleds. They have 2 across B&M seating, which is
Mhm.
fine and comfortable and probably one of the better roller coaster seats in the world. Um, but you've got a family coaster that's going to have some launches, going to have a dark ride section. And I think they're ending with the penguins.
That's right. A penguinarium is the technical term.
Penguinarium. I've been
Which,
inside the penguinarium, but without the
yeah,
coaster part.
yeah. Which since I'm
It's cool.
6'6", the max height on this is 77 inches. So
Oh.
I'm too tall in the morning. If I wait till the end of the day, it's a chance I could get squeeze on. But they
You
might
shrink.
just send me to the Penguins to be like, you're too tall. Go to the Penguins.
I mean, the penguins are cool. Like, this is a like, and again, I'm just like, SeaWorld itself, especially SeaWorld Orlando, is just coaster after coaster after coaster
Yeah,
after coaster. And I was just there over the summer. They're all really fun. Like,
yeah,
nothing is completely world record breaking standout. This is the best ride ever, but they're all a lot of fun.
yeah. I mean, I think it's, I think it's a solid park.
Oh, absolutely.
I have a good time there.
I had a good time the couple days I went in, so for sure.
Yeah. Also along the SeaWorld, they had an announcement day for the SeaWorld, all the SeaWorld park, or most of
Yeah.
them, I guess. But SeaWorld San Diego is getting a jellyfish experience. Looks cool, just a walkthrough.
Hmm.
And then they re-announced that Catapult Falls is actually opening. It's going to be 2024.
And then in 2024, they'll re-announce that Catapult Falls is opening in 2025, and we'll
Maybe.
we'll keep going. It'll be the flying turns of
Yeah.
water rides.
Yeah. Okay. To one of our home parks that we
Yes.
share. Loch Ness, there was some news that broke Friday. They had a media event,
Hmm.
and they let's see, they announced some more details. If I recall correctly, Premier's redoing the track.
Yep.
They're
Yep.
redoing both of the loops. That was interesting. I'm really looking forward to the theming they're going to add to Nessie. Um, I didn't feel I thought about driving up past weekend or this weekend. We're still on the weekend.
We are.
I thought
It's only
about,
Sunday.
yeah, I still got hours to go. I thought about driving up. Honestly, it's a very rickety
It
coaster. I I feel like I've already ridden it enough that I didn't need to do it again. Sorry,
so
Busch Gardens.
here's my hot take. I did not grow up in this area, so when I first visited Busch Gardens, like it was an old Arrow, and yes, it looks really cool, but the two rides that I've gotten on it were nearly unrideable. So the fact that they're choosing to redo it is great. That's like, I appreciate that they're investing in the history. I like that they're putting theming in that tunnel. I want to say I read somewhere that they're putting like some type of either statue or animatronic in the lagoon at the
That's
bottom.
That is the interesting thing. DJ Doc, I believe this weekend, I'd be surprised if it was shut down entirely completely today because I thought this weekend was the last to ride for members.
That's what
But
I
it was
thought too.
shut to everyone else. Um, that'd be interesting. If you're a member and you went there for your last ride and
Oh, that would
like, oh, we
be
started the refurb early.
like,
Yeah, the so that I'm looking forward to the tunnel, but the
mhm.
animatronic is like the big mystery. Like, what are they
It's well,
possibly gonna do?
and I mean that fits with the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah.
Um, I was really hoping that we would get some type of train redesign somehow, some way. I know they're
Mhm.
old Arrow trains. I know there's not a ton you can do with them, but like those 1970s over the shoulder, like just solid metal restraints,
Yep.
they don't fit me well as a
Sure.
not very tall man. I don't know how they fit you as a very tall man.
It's not.
Um,
They like jut out. It's
yeah.
not great.
Well, and I just they sit right here, and I just go back and forth,
Yeah.
even with the head out. So like, I appreciate what they're doing. I really hope that they see a return on investment. I
Mhm.
will absolutely ride it again next year,
Yep.
to see the changes, and hopefully then it's a every time I ride, as opposed to I've ridden it twice in the 10 years I've gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We're gonna keep moving. We're gonna get to Six Flags and Cedar Fair.
We're getting there.
We can probably skip over the family coaster unless you have something to add. I mean, I'm excited about
If
Sand
they,
Serpent closed.
yep,
Yeah. So the
yes.
spinner or the Wild Mouse, sorry, closed, and this is the replacement. Looks fine.
If they add swinging seats like it's suggested they have, I want to say a press release even said they had suspended swinging seats.
Yeah, it's a
That's going to
B&M.
add a lot to it because we've never
Yeah,
seen that from B&M as far as I know.
onboard audio and ride
Yep.
cars that swing. Yep, you're
Perfect.
right.
There we go. So
All right,
that's exciting then.
moving on. Disneyland. I also don't have a lot to say about Pixar Place. This hotel
Is a hotel.
what's interesting is they left it open as Paradise Pier,
Mm-hmm.
and they're officially like they've already done the pool, and I guess the pool's like mostly open and rethemed. And then they're just like officially transitioning to Pixar Place on January 30th. It looks nicer. I don't know if I'll ever stay here.
My take on Disneyland is I am never in my life going to pay $800 for a hotel room
It's tough. It's
when I
tough
can
when you have
pay.
like, yeah, that Best Western's really all those. Some of those hotels are pretty nice, and they
We
have
stayed at the
theming.
Howard Johnson off
Yeah,
of, was it Harbor?
yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, like that's like, yeah, it was more than I would pay for a normal Howard Johnson, but
Yeah,
that's insane. Sorry.
Hojo. Zootopia opening next month in Shanghai. Shanghai park, just on paper, I haven't been there, but it looks like it sorely needed kind
Mm-hmm.
of its own themed land that was unique. So this will be a good addition. I like that they're gonna have characters like come out of the windows and interact. Sounds awesome.
Well, and
Hope
have they added really anything to this park since it opened, because I honestly it opened like what 2018, 2019. It was
Yeah.
pre-pandemic. But then I feel like I haven't heard anything about being added to this. So if this is
Yeah.
like the first major expansion, I think that's a great idea. A great,
Yeah,
great one.
I think it is. I have a hard time remembering. But I know they have like their claim to fame used to be well, so they have the best version of Pirates. If you watch the new series on Disney Plus, you get to see behind the scenes on that
I haven't watched season 2 yet.
yeah, behind the attraction. It's annoying with the whiz bang style, but you
Yeah.
have to suffer through it as a theme park fan. But they also have Tron there, the original Tron. So
Right.
so
Right.
they definitely needed something else to get, I guess, to get more excitement around the park. So this will do it.
Oh, and DJ Dog is like Toy Story has been added since then. So
Oh, Toy Story
yep.
Land. Isn't that like I think that's like a
Like
clone of the Paris version, if I'm not
oh,
mistaken.
which is a rough Toy Story land.
But I don't know.
Again, when I hit
Again,
the
I have
lottery, we'll do all of those.
we got to do that like the plane, the
Yeah,
private,
yeah, exactly. They do it
the
all for me
Adventures by
then.
Disney. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Let's see here.
Adventureland Treehouse.
Yeah, the Adventureland Treehouse. Actually, this looks pretty cool. And I was a hater on this originally. I was like, why don't you just keep it Swiss Family or bring it back to Swiss Family because it was Tarzan. But
So I have not done this treehouse. I've done the Swiss Family one at Magic Kingdom.
yeah.
But I'm like, okay, it's a good waste of 10 minutes.
So that they actually released Disney. I was surprised they put a POV out of this like the other day, and it's at night and it looks amazing.
Okay.
But it's also like I'm kind of like good because I got to like see it.
Right.
I was surprised they put out like a high quality like POV on their own before it opened.
I feel like that's something they'd want to like kind of keep under the vest.
Yeah, but anyway, so it's like it's inspired by Swiss Family because it's a different family that lives in the treehouse, and they all have different interests which map to their
Mm-hmm.
rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool. Definitely recommend watching that POV.
Okay.
And we made it.
All right.
53 minutes.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Nothing else to talk about.
We made it to the big news. I assume we lost like theme park lifestyle. Are you still there?
I mean, we still we have just as many as we've had at our highest point. So,
Yeah.
all right. News came out this week that it was rumored Wednesday and it was confirmed Thursday. Yes. That Six Flags and Cedar Fair are entering into a merger. This is not a buyout. This is not like when Cedar Fair bought Paramount or when Six Flags bought Premier. They are fusing essentially the two companies into one. Some big highlights that we know, and then we can go into a lot of speculation because, I think that's kind of where we are as amusement park and theme park fans. The company will keep the Six Flags name, but will trade under the Cedar Fair Fun stock ticker, which I just think is hilarious. Headquarters will be located.
Flags, more fun.
More flags, more fun. Headquarters will be located in Charlotte. So officially, that's where headquarters will be, no longer in Arlington or Sandusky, even though they said they would keep some operations out of Sandusky, Ohio, where Cedar Point is. No immediate renaming of any properties. That was said somewhere in that great long PowerPoint. And there's a lot that this was done to like weather any low attendance times, any economic fallouts, kind of reorganize debt. But aside from all of that, there's a lot we don't know, unless I'm missing something that we do know. Oh yeah, Premier bought Six Flags.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, this came out of nowhere.
Legit came out of nowhere.
So what was interesting when we're covering the news is like we saw like new investment in theming in Six Flags parks, like Six Flags America. Obviously, Six Flags leans into the DC stuff a lot. They're going to maintain all of the IP. I mean, here's my take: like they're not going to. The parks won't change dramatically next season. The most they can probably do is like a United pass, like a platinum pass that gets you everything.
I don't even think that's happening next year.
That's a lot of work for them.
I think 2024 is very much status quo. Everything that was happening is going to continue to happen. And then I think that 2025 is going to be a lot of like kind of hold and pause and let's figure out how we're making this one thing.
Yeah, 2025 is the first year we might see the pass, because also it still has to pass Six Flags shareholder approval.
Yep.
Government regulations. It has to pass all this, and that's not expected till, well, they said first half 2024, but it's not going to be January. It's going to be some time, and they can't. You have to wait for that to go through before you can plan stuff, but you can't like really you can't go too far with it. So you couldn't put plans in motion, and if you're going to do a United season pass, like you'd have to have that like guaranteed. You can't have parks opening before and introduce, you can't introduce the pass like halfway through the season. Like it's not going to work.
Right. I think January 1, 2025 is going to be the first time that any new pass is going to come about. I know that the season pass is the thing that us enthusiasts are kind of like because I currently don't have a Cedar Fair pass of any kind. The only reason I have a Six Flags pass is because it's $7 a month.
Yeah, I think mine's $8.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I pay for the 3 of ours. And it's somewhere in like the $25 range. So ours is about $8, and then taxes. So, will those stay, or will this be a chance to, phase them out? Who knows? What will that get folks?
What's the price going to be?
Here's the thing. I don't think the price is going to be any. What's the prestige or platinum? Like, which you have the All Parks Cedar Fair pass right now? Yes.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, how much did you pay for that?
Oh no.
And it can even be monthly.
I don't pay monthly. I bought it. I don't know why I didn't pay monthly.
I want to say it was the prestige was like $350-ish.
If my order confirmation. It was $375, but it was $404.95 after tax and processing.
All right. So $375 gets you into all of the Cedar Fair parks. Very few people, and I'm just talking numbers here. You're probably talking less than 2,000 of those high prestige, high diamond VIP elite Six Flags members are actually using that pass to go and run around the parks.
Right.
Even like those of us that want to don't necessarily have the ability to. So I don't see that pass cresting. Definitely not 500, and honestly, I don't think it's going over 400 a year. Broken down however you want to.
Interesting.
Because I think they still have to realize that they compete with. They're not going to compete with your Disneys and your Universals in terms of quality. And I don't think you're going to get a whole bunch of parks that are going to compete with your SeaWorlds and your Herschend parks in terms of quality. You're going to have a couple, but they're not all going to be Cedar Point level or Kings Island level or Six Flags Great Adventure level parks.
Yeah. So the Six Flags CEO said most members do 1 to 2 parks. And
Mhm.
I think if you were to look at a map, you could probably throw a dart and you'd be near a Six Flags and a Cedar Fair in
Yeah.
a lot of scenarios. So that, I mean, or 2 Six Flagses.
Right.
Um, ooh, that I know they obviously did their due diligence on this agreement.
Mhm.
Um, that makes sense. Actually, I mean, with that said, if most members are between 2 parks, it adds
Yeah.
more value to the pass if if that includes a Cedar Fair park or,
Oh, and it
a park,
absolutely does.
the other um, yeah, the other company. So
Yeah.
that's really interesting. So let's see. Okay, so I guess we have to go into our overall takes here. Um, is this good for theme parks? Or what is your
All
overall,
right.
like, take on
So,
this merger? Are you pro, con, like, somewhere in between? What are you?
I am very much currently I think that there are going to be more goods that come out of this than bads. Ultimately, I
Okay.
think that and this could be the optimistic Dustin and me speaking. I want to say that each chain is going to kind of push their pros and their good things onto the other chain, um, while we're able to minimize the negatives. For the most part, Cedar Fair has really good operations, even though there have been a couple Six Flags parks recently that people have said are operating really, really, really well.
Fiesta,
Um,
yeah.
Fiesta. People say Great Adventure is running great. My one visit there this year, I did not see that, but you know, um, one of the things Cedar Fair does is every park has a president or a GM or some figurehead that is running that park.
Yeah,
I recently learned in watching all the coverage of this that not every Six Flags park has that. Only a handful do, and they're the ones that are blowing it away. Fiesta, Texas.
right.
Um, so like those, I hope that there's going to be a lot of corporate mumbo jumbo that happens, and unfortunately, with a combination of companies, some people are not going to have jobs when this all goes through, at least at like the higher up level. You're not going to need two marketing teams, you're not going to need two like overall food teams and things like that. Like
Yeah,
that's just
and design,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. um what I hope is that, and what I hope is that we still kind of get, as ridiculous as this sounds, a couple different tiers of parks.
mhm,
Um, and as formal as they or informal as they want to make that, that's fine. But you're going to have a collection of those high end old school Cedar Fair parks and those high end Six Flags parks that are going to be in those major metropolitans or are going to be resort destinations that are going to get more investments than the smaller parks. And that's, your Six Flags America, your Michigan's Adventure, your Valley Fairs, your things like that.
yeah,
What I hope is that those smaller parks, though, because of this larger company and because of this hopefully now reduced debt in the near future, see more investment and more opportunity than they have in the past. Because like it's been almost over 20 years since I've been to Michigan's Adventure, and I'm not missing a damn thing.
that was my
You know.
main takeaway is for some parks that are already getting significant investment, like Fiesta,
Hmm.
um, like, I don't know if a lot changes here, um,
Correct.
but but hopefully, some of those small parks that haven't gotten any investments in a decade or 2 decades,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
actually
Mm-hmm.
start to potentially see something out of this. That's a very optimistic take,
Yeah.
but that was my main takeaway when I saw this. I was like, well, I'm hopeful. Because I mean, we see it in our our YouTube comments, and like we see that in general, like on Twitter and with theme park fans that are in these areas. They're just dying for updates, and I want the updates for them, and I want to get to those parks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them that I haven't been to, and like I hope it happens to, and I hope those parks start to get some investment, but it's going to be uh, I don't know what the plans are. We don't know a lot of the plans if Michigan's like adventure has something coming, right? We don't know. Maybe there are plans for 2025.
Well,
um,
and I have to think that every plan post 24 just got put on hold as
that's
long as
also true. You
as
have
long
to,
as contracts weren't signed and officialized and like tracks being made for something,
yeah,
Um what one of
um,
the things that I wanted to focus on, I know a lot of folks were like wondering why the company is going to be called Six Flags.
yeah,
Because I know in our circles, like that doesn't like, oh yeah, Cedar Fair parks absolutely have a better like reputation, as overall as opposed to Six Flags parks. Um, but like I am an educator. I have been teaching in the greater Baltimore region for 16 years now. Um, People don't say they're going to Six Flags America. They say they're going to Six Flags. People don't say they're going to King's Dominion, which is a Cedar Fair company. They're going to King's Dominion. Six Flags has a brand, and I think that is something. And overall, I think it's a positive brand. It's a brand that means you're gonna go and most likely have a good time. And then like I get the random student that's like, "Did you know there's one in New Jersey?" I'm like, "Oh, boo boo." Yes, there's one in New Jersey, and there's one in Massachusetts, and there's one in Georgia, and there's two in California. Yeah, yeah, but like, yes, like Six Flags as a brand, it absolutely should stay a Six Flags brand. And I don't think that we're going to get Six Flags over Sandusky, and we're not going to get Six Flags over Carowinds. I don't see that happening. I
no,
don't see that happening really ever. You might get a Six Flags park, and that's whatever that'll people will get over that. But I really think that if the regional theme parks want to compete with the destination resorts, this had to happen. And I'm not upset that it happened. I'm still shocked that it happened. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be good things for the Six Flags company moving forward.
yeah. I reluctantly agree with you on the name.
You know,
Because like if I was to walk down the street, if I was to walk down Main Street in Carowinds
hmm
and pull people aside and ask them what company owns this park,
Carowinds.
they would just, yeah. If I was in
Carowinds
Carowinds,
company
they
owns
would say
Carowinds.
Carowinds owns the park.
Yeah.
They wouldn't, you'd have some people that would pull out Cedar Fair.
hmm
And then if I wonder if those people, if the people that said Cedar Fair, if I could get them to explain where Cedar Fair, like the name came from, like Cedar Point Valley Fair.
10%.
Oh, yeah, it would be very.
Yeah.
So anyway, the brand recognition, I think, I don't, I don't, I mean, I know they did all sorts of tests to
hmm
figure out if they wanted to go with Six Flags.
But did they like this?
I don't know if they had. I mean, it might have been just like a simple. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. We're
And we
speculating here.
don't. But like I'm like you and I are fairly like in tune to what's going on, and this broke Wednesday and then happened Thursday.
Right.
So I'm one that's of the belief where there's smoke, there's fire, and I feel like this fire happened very abruptly.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, moving forward, I think it's in the best interest of everyone to keep it Six Flags. I think we'll get a unified pass, and my $8 pass will eventually be gone, and that's okay. It's not, but it is.
I don't know how to cancel mine, to be honest.
Well, you cancel it,
There's
and then they
some
make
like
you wait.
credit card portal. It's really weird.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna
like
say
old school.
it's $8. I can front you. It's
Yeah.
not that big a deal.
Yeah.
I'll add you onto mine.
Um, so yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean that all makes sense. I think what I was gonna say is like the Six Flags positive brand recognition. I think like for the teen market,
Hmm.
if that's I mean, it depends on the splits on who's going to the parks and who's paying, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think. I mean, do you think teens like don't really have a negative perception of Six Flags? Like they just think of it like, oh, I'm just going to go to Six Flags, have some fun. They don't think of it as like a dirty, like, or have any association like that.
I really I don't think so unless you're in
Mhm.
one of those weird spots where you know that where you're aware that there's other parks around and
Sure.
there's the availability to get to those other parks easily.
They just view it
Um,
as like a more affordable like park to go to because Universal and Disneyland, like those cost a lot more. So
exactly.
let's go
Like
to Magic Mountain and have a good
like
time.
I don't have the ability to travel to Southern California, to travel to Florida, to travel
Mhm.
even like and again, I'm speaking in the greater Baltimore region.
Right.
Um, Students that I've taught know about Busch Gardens, but Busch Gardens is in Williamsburg's 4 hours away on a good day. Um, Six Flags America's
Yeah.
45 minutes to an hour, depending on where you are. Um, I can get my mom to take us to Six Flags for a day. It's a lot harder
Yeah.
to get my mom to take us to Busch Gardens for a day.
Yeah.
So
That's a hike.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a hike for us, and we really enjoy it. Imagine a parent that was reluctantly like, "Okay, I'll drop you off for a few hours."
Yeah. So I guess the okay. So we overall both of us agree that we're optimistic here.
Yes.
Um, the remaining competition for Six Flags, assuming
Mhm.
this deal goes through,
Which I
you have
believe it will.
you have you have you have a couple big chains left.
Hmm.
You have Merlin, you have Parques, Reunidos, you
Yeah.
have SeaWorld.
You have,
Universal dipping their toes into regional stuff.
which I think is a bigger deal than this company wants to have you believe it is right now,
Mhm.
because they have shown that they're willing to at least try. It may flop spectacularly. Their family park in Texas, and their
The horror
haunt
experience. Yeah.
in Vegas. And it may. And I think they'll be the first to say, like, okay, we tried it. Like if it does flop, we tried it, it didn't work. Now we know.
Yeah.
Um, but if it works and you then get a family park in the Chicago area and a family park in the New York area to compete with Legoland,
Mhm.
um, and a haunt experience in, you know, Cleveland, Pittsburgh,
Sure.
Philadelphia. Like if Universal is able to regionalize, which is something that Disney, we're gonna go back an hour now. We talked about Disney America,
Yeah.
and they said, no, we're not gonna do that. So, Disney went international, but the fact that they're concentrated in two markets, whereas now the new Six Flags is concentrated in 35,
Yeah.
at least at 30. Like there's a there's something to be said about the amount of people that know what you have, good or bad.
Yeah.
So
We didn't talk about
popularities.
Disney Quest. We only talked about Disney America.
Well, Disney Quest failed
Did.
spectacularly.
Cleveland's scary enough as it is.
The flats are a great area. Love the flags.
Cleveland
But
Brown.
yes, I
Yeah,
just I think there's I mean, there's a lot that's still unknown. Like, how
yeah,
are they going to expand? How are they going to move forward? Are we going to keep every park? Are some parks going to be sold because they're just dead weight? If those parks are sold, are they going to get bought by another park, or are they going to become real estate? Because the real estate market in America is still just it's growing, expanding, and booming, and no one can build enough houses for people to can't afford it.
yeah,
Um, I would love to say that in 5 years every park will still be a park, save for California's Great America, because that one's already on the chopping block.
yeah,
Um, I don't believe that. I don't believe that's going to happen. I'd love for it to. Um, and I think they'll end up keeping more than they sell. But I wouldn't at all be shocked if we have here are A+ parks, and then here are our parks that we still have and are still providing a good regional experience, but they're not providing that top tier destination touristy experience that we know we need to have a couple of to compete with your Universals, your Disneys, even your Dollywoods and Silver Dollar cities.
yeah. You think they're going
You
to
know,
categorize them? Like these are our A parks. That's very fun.
will they officially will they publicly
No, they
categorize
won't. They
them?
won't do that.
They won't.
Yeah.
Will the people that know?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I
Just like we
mean,
do now.
we know.
Just
We
like we do
know
now.
what's getting attention and what's not getting attention,
Yeah.
what's appealing to the locals and is not expected to draw
Hmm.
people from other areas. Yeah, we know the parks.
Exactly.
I guess the only other thing I don't have a lot else to add on this. I think we're not going to see significant changes in it, and definitely not next year, and
No.
probably not the year after. Most of the, it seems like most of these, at least on the Cedar Fair side, I'm not as familiar with the Six Flags side, like operationally,
Hmm.
um, beyond what I've heard from some of the parks like Fiesta. But like on the Cedar Fair side, a lot of them, and I think, I mean, I see this on the SeaWorld side too. Like a lot of them have lifers that have worked for the park for years and years. And it's like they operate as their own company,
Yes.
and they have been doing that through a lot of changes. So that's that leads me to think like not a lot. Well, I guess we don't know, but it leads me to think that not a lot is going to change, one way or the other potentially. But I
I
guess,
think I think you're going to get some optimization of procedures. Um, like
oh yeah,
we'll have one ticketing system. We'll have one fast lane plus ish system. Whether that's Flash Pass or fast, however that works. Um, we'll have one dining plan. We'll have one operational standard that everybody should be living up to. But I know I want the parks that have their own identity to keep their own identity, and I don't think that that's going away anytime soon. But I also want the parks that kind of don't have an identity at all to really form one. And if that becomes Six Flags Over Michigan, and I use Michigan's Adventure because that's
yeah,
a park that I've known my whole life, and I knew it when it was Deer Park, and
yeah,
I knew it before Cedar Fair bought it as Michigan's Adventure and moving on. So if it requires a Six Flags branding to kind of reinvigorate life into it, there's no negative to that. It's not going to get worse.
yeah,
Um, whereas I think like looking at Six Flags America, that might benefit from not necessarily being a Six Flags park anymore and going back to whether it's Wild World or America's Adventure or something, just to kind of have its own identity and not be lumped into this DC. There's a Gotham City over here, and there's a Looney Tunes area over here.
yeah.
So
Then you have Snoopy now.
And then you have Snoopy, and you can make um, Snoopy's Soapbox Racers coming in 2026 to Six Flags America. Book it now.
I want to see some IP crossover,
I would
like when the
love to see some
Jetsons and the
IP
Flintstones
crossover.
got together or something like that. That would be kind
Yeah,
of
that would be absolutely wonderful.
all right. I think we've hit our limit. This was fun to go through all the
Yes.
news. I know coming up, we got the holidays,
Mhm.
so we'll see if we can get another live show in. We
So I know
definitely have to
I know
do,
you're doing Disney this weekend.
yeah.
What are your holiday plans in the next couple months? Even though hopefully I talked to you before.
Yeah. This weekend I'll be in Florida. I was gonna do Uncle Bernie's theme park and it closed on me
It
in Fort Lauderdale. So
closed.
I'm flying into Fort Lauderdale. I have to do a SBF spinner near Vero Beach.
Okay.
If it's staying at Disney's Vero Beach, then going to Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
Priority on Epcot. I don't know if we'll go to another park. We'll see. But we'll be going back to Disney in December for 3 or 4 nights, staying at Boardwalk. Renovated. They have renovated rooms, so I'm excited to see those.
Sounds good.
And then in between that, Thanksgiving will be Dollywood and some local attractions in the Pigeon Forge area. I know they have that new themed mountain coaster. Yeah, IAPA's coming up, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll keep an eye on that. I can't make it IAPA, but we'll keep an eye on the news coming out of there. Obviously, they're will always be debuting like the new trains coming to all
The
these.
new trains. It, Hershey Park has something with PTC, and I'm
Mhm.
curious to see what that is. I don't know if it's Comet
Oh,
renovations or
interesting.
retracting, or I don't know. They're the only rides. That's the only ride at Hershey that runs PTC trains. So
That is interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
Beyond that, I'll be likely going to Carowinds for Winterfest.
hmm
We'll see if I get to Christmas Town again at Busch Gardens, and maybe we can sync up there if
that'd
the
be
stars
great.
align.
Yeah.
What about you?
So we've got Hershey Park Christmas Candy Lane opens up this week. We'll probably hit that up Thanksgiving weekend like we traditionally do. Um, I'd like to hit up Christmas Town at Busch Gardens, so maybe
Yeah.
we can find a weekend to link up there. And we're spending Christmas week in Tennessee this year, so we're gonna hit up Dollywood on the way.
Oh.
And I have never been to Dollywood before, so
Oh.
while I'm bummed that Lightning Rod isn't a thing,
Yeah.
um, there's still a lot there that I would like to do, and then that just gives me a reason to come back and hit up Lightning Rod.
Yeah. And again, I haven't been to Dollywood at Christmas time, so
There we
I've
go.
heard that is fantastic. Wait, you haven't had cinnamon bread before then?
I've had off-brand cinnamon bread at Hershey Park.
No, you haven't. Yeah, you haven't had
Yes,
Silver Dollar City or Dollywood
I
cinnamon
I
bread.
have
Okay.
not had Hershey cinnamon bread. Now,
Yeah. Okay. Well, you should be prepared to share that. It is a lot.
high on
It,
the
re-
list.
it
Yes,
requires a minimum of 2 adults that
we'll
are
we'll
hungry.
have at least 6 people
Yeah,
at
you're gonna
the
need
in the
2 or 3
or in the
loaves.
Dollywood group. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So it should be
This has
fun.
been fun. Thanks for everyone that has joined us along the way.
Yes.
And thanks. If you're watching this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Park Rovers, which is, if you're on Facebook, you could be watching this there, but otherwise, you're probably watching it on YouTube.
Most likely, but
Yeah.
sure.
Uh,
Join us wherever.
yeah, we're on obviously Instagram and all the things. Yeah, thanks again. We don't do these a lot, so it's just fun for usually Dustin and I to chat and catch up. And
Yeah.
it's good to run through the news and and kind of chat about that. And thanks to DJ. Shout out to DJ Dog for joining us, for sticking with us. I appreciate all
The
the
whole
back and
dang
forth.
time too.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really appreciate it. He was. I wanted him on the screen or her on the screen.
We're sending you
Lots of
an
good.
invite just so you
Yeah.
know.
Next
Okay.
time you're going to join us, DJ Dog. So if you're watching the replay, thank you. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the merger, what your thoughts are.
Mhm.
And I think that's all I got.
All right. I don't have anything else either. It's been fun. We need to do this again.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We will see you next time.